my computer, I figured out the issue with my computer.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Tim Gillette. I'm back here with another episode of the Tim Gillette Show, and tonight I got on Clint Fuqua. Why, Clint, can I never say your name right?
Nobody can say it. I'll break it down for you. F-E-W, Quay.
Yeah.
A few Quakers. A few
you know
Quakers
what it is?
were going down the road.
You know what it is? You know how many times I've said names today that like it's I always and yours is like yours should have been the beginning of the day name.
It's 5 letters. It's 5 letters. Come on.
It's still it's an end of the day tongue twister. Fuqua.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nobody gets it, and it's a huge, well-known last name. People don't realize how big the last name is. It's all over Hollywood. It's all over Harvard. It's all over Louisiana. It's all over Houston.
Well, that's the problem. It's in Louisiana and Houston. We live in Dallas.
and Harvard. There's a Fuqua Street here in Dallas. It's small, but it's here. They got a huge highway in Houston.
So Clint, man, I want to welcome you to the show. All right, I know I've known you for years. All right, you're really, really great here in the Dallas area and helping people with their health. I know you've actually gone through points and times where you actually tell people, hey, let's talk about your health insurance. Let's talk about everything about you getting healthy. Let's talk about I want to talk to you about your health journey. All right, how long have you been on the health journey in your life?
Since forever. Actually, so it's been 43 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I have never not been. It's been just it's been an ever present part of life from every different aspect, because I've actually had a lot of health issues over my lifetime, and so this has been an outgrowth of essentially taking control of those things. Because if I didn't, I'm not going to say I wouldn't be here right now, but I'd be a whole different person right now than if I would
really like
health
issues. Like I've had epilepsy, and discovered it when I was in my early 20s. But you know what I mean? One of those deals where you basically, you better learn to take care of yourself, and that just became a passion for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's essentially that. I was really good at it. Is part of it. So I mean, whenever you find something that you're really good at, and it's been a part of life. So, because I've had other passions. I've had art, engineering, all kinds of other stuff that have been passions that I could have gotten into, and this was the route. Which I still get to enjoy those with what I do now, because I throw art, engineering, design, all those things, looking at historic references, stuff like that. I get to do a lot of research. I'm a research hound, so I get to take all those things and put them into what I do now for people.
Well, and you know what I mean? You spend, I assume you spend a lot of time studying it, all right, still to this day. So, because it's really, when it comes to your health, it's a never-ending study, correct?
There's something new every day. There's a lot of new things every day.
Yeah.
A lot of it's retread of what's been out there, but yeah, there's a lot of new reference material. A lot of basically looking at old things that probably weren't evidence based, and now they are. So that comes from the health industry, the fitness industry, wellness industry. They are 3 completely different industries that people don't realize. They are completely worlds apart in how they work and function. So it's been a journey, and you're learning. All right, you're studying this whole thing. All right, right now in our current world situation, what are you doing to help people keep healthy? Oh man, what am I not doing?
Let me lay the whole world in your hands, in your head.
Yeah. So the biggest thing I'm doing right now, of course, as you know, gyms are shut down. My gym is shut down. Okay, we're all shut down, and many will not open. I want people to realize this. Many gyms, your gym right now is probably not going to reopen. Okay, because of this thing. Depending on how long we stay closed. But so what I've been doing is I've been doing home workouts right here. So anybody that's done any of the home workouts, they know what's going on behind me. This is my Zen room. And so I've been doing body weight workouts. That means no equipment, no anything needed, just you and your body. And so I'm on day 35 because we've been shut down for 35 days. Actually, a little bit longer than that, but I've done 35 days so far of home bodyweight workouts, and you need a space that's like 8x4 to do any of them.
Mm-hmm. And in workouts, helping people who actually have to stay at home right now, Clint. All right, let's take the guy like me who basically, I'm not a guy who goes to the gym, but now I realize, oh crap, I got to take care of my health. What are the exercises you're recommending for those people who are maybe not been to a gym or been with a trainer like you right now?
Well, so this has been kind of an outgrowth of stuff. So I'm martial arts based. So my background is actually martial arts. I grew up doing that along with working out. So this is a very formulaic setup. I've actually planned it over the course of a night for 30 plus days of doing this. So the first week, specifically, is the wax on, wax off, sanding floors, painting the fence. If you watch Karate Kid, you know where I'm going with this. It's the basics. It's the baseline. You could do those first 7 days for every week for the rest of your life. Seriously, you could do those 7 days, the rest of your life, every week, and you'll do phenomenally well from a health standpoint, from a fitness standpoint, because it's every movement that you're going to need to get through life optimally. Not just kind of moving around, being able to move around incredibly well every day for the rest of your life until you decide to not move around anymore. So, and that's why I put those together. And this way, anybody that does those, they can hop in and do the rest of it. Because I will say, the last couple of days have been not exactly easy. So there's been a progression that I've gone through on this. One, so people get how my mind works, because I don't go at things the normal route the usual trainers do, because I've done the courses, I've taught courses, stuff like that, and so I'm much more methodical on how I go about doing programs. And what I do in here, people should understand, is fun. I'm having fun with this. It's a comedy show for like half an hour while I'm doing basic movements, okay? As opposed to somebody sitting down with me and me actually formulating a plan and doing testing and everything else. So I'm saying, okay, this is what we need to do for you, for your current set of circumstances and where you want to go versus where you've been in the past and all of this stuff. So, but yeah, that's what I'm doing with this. And of course, outside of that, I've got other partners for doing meals. So if you need meals sent to you, if you want to do DNA testing, if you want a COVID-19 test at your home right now, you can do that. I have partners that actually offer those.
Oh, cool.
So that's the other piece of what I have.
All right. You mentioned that, you started into, with, background in karate and martial arts. What made you look at that as your foundation for your health and fitness and weight and training like that? Fitness. It's
methodical. So my reason for getting into it has no relevance to this, other than, looking back on the background of going through the classes. I actually did Taekwondo. Okay. It was somewhat kind of classical Taekwondo, but not really. So it was the formulaic part of it is the katas. It's the repetition. It's the having a reason for everything happening. If you're doing these things, here's why. This is how you set them up. This is how you do it for education. This is how people learn it, will grasp onto it. And after they do it for so many times, it's basically, if you want to perfect something, you got to do it 10,000 times, right? Better yet, you got to do it 10,000 times perfectly to get it right. So, and that's the base. This is the whole, look, here's basic movements. This is how we format that. This is how we turn it into essentially my own fitness katas, so to speak, of movement and movement progression. Because anybody that's ever been in martial arts, you realize you do one kata and you move to the next, to the next, to the next, and you take that first kata, and that first kata is the base for everything else. 20 katas later, you still have that first one in it, but it expands out. It gets much more complex. You've got a kata that'll go for like 5-10 minutes, and you've got to remember every movement just crisply, perfectly, and it's about repetition and practice. So when you do go in and you spar or anything else, you've got all these movements memorized. They're just there. They're in your memory bank, okay? You've done them from different angles, turning, everything else. And then, so they're just there. You just get to pull from them whenever needed. So if you need to grab something and go up the stairs, well, if you practice that properly, X amount of times in the gym, in your house, well, now you just pick stuff up and you go up and downstairs like it's nothing. So that's the premise. That's the basis behind it. And it helps out from understanding standpoint of why are we doing this thing? Why do you have me doing this exercise? Is it for a function? Is it just for torture? Usually it's for torture in most of the industry. That's how it works, right? Mm-hmm. Well, do the burpees because, well, they're torture. They're gonna make you stronger, right? No, they're just gonna get you injured. So I personally hate burpees. I will not subject anybody to that ridiculousness of an exercise unless it's absolutely called for them in a position specific role as an athlete or something like that. Otherwise they're ridiculously pointless.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's like, like I'm trying to build habits right now, walking every day. And, but how many habits that have formed what I do, in my life. And, you know what I mean? I look at them over time, but you're trying to get people to form healthy habits that actually exercise muscles. Yeah. But, as your body gets used to those habits, and
brain too.
Yeah. As your body gets used to those habits, though, do you teach them on how to switch up on every couple of weeks, to exercise different muscles? So it's great. So the muscle doesn't go, okay, yeah, I'm just used to doing that. Or do you switch it?
Yeah, there's some of that. That comes down to different. It's different for different people. Some people will need a different input every day. Mm-hmm. Some people will need the same input over and over again for a year. Mm-hmm. I have one client that I worked with this guy for a year just on doing a lunge.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it comes down to aptitude. It comes down to what their needs are, learning process, nervous system, all that stuff. So everybody is very, very different in that regard. And their goals are different. I mean, you can't train somebody to be a bodybuilder that just wants to get healthy. You can't train a bodybuilder just to get healthy, right? Yeah, so you have those very, very highly specific things with each person coming to you. So that's why it's tough to have a singular program that you just do for everybody, because it just doesn't work. It's the cookie cutter method. Yeah. You have a clump of dough right there. You take the cookie cutter, and next thing you know, you're chopping off arms and legs, and that results into injuries.
Yeah. So one of my clients is known as the weight loss engineer, and basically she's same concept. She's an engineer by trade, and she understands that everybody's body was different, in creating a weight loss plan for them. And, that's where we developed the term, and also the fact that she was an engineer by trade. That's why she figured that out. All right. But the engineering aspect of it is really, is every body type is different. So, well, let me ask you this. All right. Over the years of, you developing your own style, your own way of helping people. All right. Did you have a mentor or someone who kind of, gave you that boost or gave you that word of encouragement that helped you build your path the way you're going now?
I've had several. So I've never really looked to just having one mentor, mostly because there's so many different methodologies and ways of going about things. I've had people that I've looked up to, that I've talked with over the years, but I've never had one specific single mentor. As that, because sadly, from a business standpoint, it's good to have that. From a methodology standpoint, if you get into that, then you start getting into a certain dogma, and you can't get out of that dogma, and then you get pigeonholed, and I can't stand that. So I like to be free of thought. So if I get stuck in one thing for too long, I automatically jump out of it, because I know there's other things missing. So outside that, I've had, kind of what you would call mentors, but I look more for different teachers, different instructors at different points in time for things that are needed, to help expand what I'm doing, as opposed to, being way too single tracked, with my thought process and things like that. So it's which, most people say, well, you got to drill down, you got to find your one thing and do that one thing. And, well, that's great. But my mind just gets way too bored with that. I'm always looking for other outside things to expand because I know there's more things outside of what I'm doing. So I look for different Yodas, so to speak. And I've had several. I've had some great people like that, and I'll find a new one for a while, and then I'll learn what I need from that standpoint, and then I'll find another. This way, I'm always continually growing.
Yeah. And it's interesting that, what I mean? Many of us have different ones that we've learned from over the years. And I always was curious when it got to the health and wellness and, exercise industries of whether some people found that one that gave them the guide, that one that was leading them like mine. You can look at my business strategies and understand who my coaches and mentors are because you can see the patterns there. But each person in the health industry I find to be different. And, I have a friend in Arizona who runs a gym out there that's just, he's got one of the most interesting ideas I've ever seen. And yet I've never seen it anywhere else. You know what I mean? And that's when I see people who get a mentor, they're like, they latch on to something, they learn somewhere, but I've never seen a health person pick one. They always have mentors. It's
tough to if I had one single person that followed the most on things, even though he's not around anymore, Jack LaLanne.
Yeah.
Mostly, he's the godfather. Okay, he's the grandfather of anything and everything fitness. Period. I mean, we would not have the fitness industry that we have now. We wouldn't have the machines that we have now. We wouldn't have a lot of the diet and nutrition stuff we have now. We wouldn't have a lot of the shows we have now. I've actually patterned my show after him. So after his old TV show. So, without him, his tutelage for a lot of people in the industry, we really wouldn't have what we have now, as far as industry goes. Even as much as we battle back and forth about, who's right, who's wrong, and the best methodology going about doing things, he kind of set the stage and the parameters for the entire health and wellness industry. So looking back at what he did, what he put together is, it was masterful.
Yeah. So one of the things I teach in my philosophies, and I want to know if it adapts to, I'm sure it does, based on what you've said, but I teach in my industry is you got to have a system and you've got to have discipline to follow the system. I'm sure based on what you've taught that's probably part of your teachings as well is pick a system and discipline yourself to follow that system.
Yeah. For the most part, yes. Be open to a little bit of outside influence in that system because, once again, dogma is an issue at times with people. They get stuck in one dogmatic, which is tough in this industry to do that. I mean, it's good to have your niche, but, I applaud people that find your niche and just ride that thing for as long as they can. In this industry, but it's being open to adding new things to that, and so. But for a system, you got to have some sort of system that you follow. So my intake system has been the same for a long time because of how it flows. It's very medical based. I was actually pre-med, so I always wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a DO initially, and so I've always been more on that route of things. Which is, I'm a research hound and goes into the whole engineering aspect of it. I'm highly in tune and intrigued in that part of it first before we actually get into doing any kind of movement stuff, because I want to know what's going on with all of that before we even look at weights. Forget about the workouts. Let's look at all this let's look at this 99% of other stuff that's going on over here that's going to impact this little 1% of the workout that we're doing. Because, a workout is, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day, a couple of days a week versus everything else you're doing from the time you wake up till you wake up again. Because what you do when you're asleep for that 8 hours, hopefully, that has a huge impact on all that. If that one thing isn't interest, then who cares about the workouts? They're going to suffer. They're going to actually do damage and harm to you at that point. So, from that standpoint, I'm a much better advocate on that side of the background, the learning about the person specifically, and addressing all of those, way before even looking at what exercise they should be doing, if any, at some points. I've got one of my friends that is actually his niche, is taking people that have been working out and getting them to stop and start working on resetting their system and their body before they can go back to working out. It's brilliant. I love what he does with it.
You know, when we go into there, like, you know, we go past the workout phase and now we go into, you know, say, you know, the health phase of eating and what we intake. Are you big on like supplements or, you know, vitamins, or is it all based on the diet what you should be eating based on what you get in the grocery store?
I'm big on all of it. So one thing people don't realize or don't remember is, so I actually ran a supplement company for several years. I did product formulation. So I'm rough on the supplement industry. I'm ridiculously rough on the supplement industry about how things are manufactured, where it comes from, processing, their research studies behind whatever they're putting out there, all that stuff. So to anybody out there that I've ever been not so nice to about whenever you approach me with something, sorry, you were asking for it, and you usually are. But because I'll tear into the research and literature around whatever they're promoting, really, really quickly and deeply. But so yes, I am, from a standpoint of who that person is and what they need specifically. So one of the things I wanted to do in the industry whenever I was running the supplement company was create stuff for people individually, which is not easy by any means. Okay. Because there's a lot of factors. You have every lifestyle factor that they've got. You've got all their health factors. You've got medications. You've got genetics, DNA, etc. All those things that need to be wrapped up and figured out and considered before you even contemplate, one, what kind of diet they should be on, what foods they should have. Look at food allergies as well, because there are major food allergies that you know about and ones you don't know about that will really affect people short-term and long-term. So you have to address those issues and then start looking at the micronutrients. What are they deficient in? Why are they deficient in these things? Is it an actual deficiency? Is it a gut microbiome issue to where they just cannot take these things in? So there's a whole lot that goes into that, as opposed to, oh, here's this diet you should have. Well, great. Why? What's your basis behind that person eating that diet, other than that's the cool new fad of the moment? That fad may actually kill them prematurely, and take 10 years off their life. They might lose some weight, great, but they might lose 10 pounds in 10 years. Did you do any good for them? No, you did not. I mean, they might look good in a bathing suit for a week or two, but at what cost? So, I get really picky about that aspect of things as well, which is why I like to really dive deep into somebody's background and what they really need for their health first, before looking at, okay, what are we going to do to get you lean, to get that six pack and everything else? How about we balance everything else that we've got going on? And once we get that in place, now we can start figuring out, okay, here's how many calories we need to have for you taking in to achieve this level of leanness, if you should even get that lean. Because if you do, here's the ramifications of getting down to that. Are you getting up on a stage? Is somebody paying you to put on a bikini and prance around on stage and look good?
No, I'm not going to wear a bikini on stage. I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on. You got the hair. You got the legs, man. You got the legs. I mean, you're like 6'7" with the long legs. Yeah. We throw some, we shave them up and throw some heels under there. We got something, right?
So, I mean, yeah, but I asked that in the food and I mean, in what you put into your body, because I mean, well, number one, I have epilepsy and I'm taking medication for it, and I have for 25 years. And most people would be like, a lot of people who are in the health industry, well, we need to get you something natural to get you off that. And I'm like, this works, and it is very inexpensive, and it has not done that much damage to maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but I've been able to put almost 750,000 miles on motorcycles because I was on that medication. If I wasn't, I couldn't. But it has made me like allergic to bananas. I can't eat a banana. Okay. Big deal, right? But most people are like, oh yeah, you got to give up this, you got to give up that. Well, you need bananas, so you get off that medication. Well,
bananas. there's 10 million other fruits out there.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's no banana splits for you. Sorry, but you know, you should
Bummer. Yeah, as a kid, I loved them. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, there's that balancing act too. It's the whole okay. Yeah, there's the natural route. There's also the thing of yes, certain medications are they're miracles. Okay, for helping people live a better life. So how do you balance that out? Well, you look at that medication they're taking and say, okay, it has this great benefit. Maybe it has this thing over here that it's affecting. Maybe it's taking nutrients out of your system that you need. Well, guess what? We can supplement those. We can add those nutrients back in.
Yeah,
that's a quick, easy fix. So you don't have all the whenever you get the medication, you got the list of the 10 million side effects.
Yeah.
Well, those 10 million side effects are because of nutrients that they're depleting from the system that start causing those side effects. Well, that's an easy fix. We just plug in what's being taken out of the system, and now we have it may not be the perfect, most natural solution, but it is a very good solution for a much better life for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, our comment over here in the things here. So banana allergy, bummer. It's hard to avoid. It's weird. Like if somebody opens a banana next to me, I just kindly just move over a seat or something. I try. If people bring a banana on the plane, I just say, hey, can you eat it before we take off? So I don't get sick in the air. But it's usually eating, not smelling or being near it. It's just eating it. I can't eat it. But so I'm lucky for that. But it's an like you said, it's an engineering thing with you, taking care of everything in the body. I've even learned the side effects of what medication I'm on. And, I got my dentist has got to watch for stuff. And, but my doctor is like all the time, I can't believe you're 50 some years of age and you're on one medication. And like, one of it was a side effect was depression, and I refused to take another medication for it. You know what I mean? Because now they get into, and you probably dealt with this. They're taking the medication for the side effect. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And you can mitigate the side effects whenever you know what nutrients are being depleted from the system. Plug those back in, and maybe optimize intakes of other things, and you navigate around it. It is an equation. You just once you know the factors to the equation, it's easy to come up with really good solutions to those.
Yeah, and you know what I mean. Again, it's 25 years, and really, I spent the first 9 years of this not taking care of my life, and then it was a seizure at work, which basically the company I worked for and the job I had with epilepsy, I wasn't allowed to have, and that made it public knowledge. And my boss was like, "Well, either you're going to take care of this, or I'm going to take care of it. Take your pick." Okay, I think I better pay attention. And because of that, I went from 2001 to 2016 without a seizure. So yeah, very cool. So, I'm trying to catch up with the comments over here coming in. We got a lot of people giving comments. So antidepressants suck, side effects suck. So yeah, have you had people come in, that you found on antidepressants and stuff like that because they had depression issues that you had to go, okay, let's fix the health issues so you can get off that medication?
Yeah, we've talked about that, and it's if they want to dive into those things, then yes, we'll dive into those. And I actually have other people that I refer out to that. I don't deal with those things. I have others that I refer out to that do deal with those. I have a nice big Rolodex of other experts that I work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which is one of those things, you never overstep. You don't step into things you can't handle. You find other experts that can handle those things, and you hand them off so those things can be taken care of. So, from that standpoint, if they're willing to dive into the deep-seated issues that are causing depression, or if it is actually a nutritional issue, nutritional deficiency, because those do cause depression issues. If it's that issue, then yeah, we can dive into that pretty quickly and start having a little turnaround. However, I will warn everybody out there right now, if you are taking any kind of medication for depression, do not go cold turkey. Okay, there is a whole progression for coming off of those things because the way they work in the system, they are very, 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 very powerful.
They'll bring a crash to you, won't they? They bring a crash.
Yeah, it's you. you can have a downward spiral like you wouldn't believe if you come off too soon, if things aren't mitigated properly, if you're not working with the proper people from a medical standpoint that can watch things. So yeah, there's a long progression with that, and if people are willing to go through that process, go through it. If they're not willing to go through it, then okay, let's mitigate whatever we can while you're on the antidepressant and while you're working out. While you're working with your doctor was probably going to start dropping down your dosage as you work out because, well, that depression will start to go away naturally from that standpoint, just because you're moving, you're connected with yourself again.
So
you
the
have
exercise
elevated levels of serotonin naturally now.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. So the exercise actually starts working from the muscular to the mental. Yeah.
Exercise is actually a mental activity first.
Mm-hmm.
The physical part of it is the secondary. Mm-hmm. It's all mental first. It's also emotional. So people don't realize this, and I've talked about this before. You'll actually have a mental breakdown to where you'll just cry profusely in the gym for no reason whatsoever. You'll be in there working out, and you'll just break down because you'll have a mental emotional break, a good break, while you're working out. At times, if you're going through a really stressful time, stuff like that, it will cause things like that to happen, which is a good thing because now you're breaking through some layers of things you're going through. So there's a major mental emotional aspect to exercise itself, and so that's why people quit early in the game with that. Whenever they come in, if they don't have a plan that they're going to stick to, they'll quit pretty quickly because they'll actually hit. It's not a physical limitation. They'll hit a mental emotional limitation on there to where they're going to bump up against something from a mental emotional standpoint they just aren't ready to deal with yet, and they will drop it automatically. Mm-hmm. They may not realize it at the time, but if they do push through that thing and they get over that hump, they get over that wall and they break through that thing, they'll have a little break down the gym. Like, what just happened? Why am I going through this? I'm like, well, because you just broke some emotional chains that were there, and you finally got ready to address those things. So that's why it's great when somebody starts off working out that they do some mental emotional work before they ever step in the gym, because if not, it's going to have some major dramatic impacts on them while they're there and during their life, and they're not going to know how to deal with those things, and they'll just quit automatically because they have no way of dealing with what's going on from a mental standpoint that they don't understand is happening because a lot of it is subconscious.
So years ago, I had a friend. I was, doing an event, and a friend of mine who was one of my speakers at the time, he took me to the gym, and actually, the gym we visited isn't that far from my house right now. Now I didn't live up here back then. And you know what I mean? Everything that we were doing, the exercise seemed so minor. Like, oh yeah, I can do this. It's just easy, right? I hurt for 8 days. And like I stood that weekend speaking for 3 days in like massive, all of my aches, and I felt every muscle in my body. And I kept saying to him, man, why the heck did you do this to me? And he goes, I kept telling you to take it easy. I'm like, because it wasn't hard. You know what I mean? It was minor repetitions that his body was used to doing. It was building it, but mine, it's been the first time they'd ever done it. And again, it wasn't hard work. You know what I mean? And you have people who have that.
Yeah. So one of my edicts for my training is not getting people sore. I actually do not want to get people sore because usually that means we've pushed beyond their ability to recover. Okay. And people can confuse soreness with pain. A lot of people work out for the pain. What I want to feel sore. I want to feel like no, you're not ready for it. You're not ready for the pain. Okay. That's like a 1-year process. Okay. We got to get you ready to be ready for some soreness and pain. There might be a little bit of soreness here and there, but that is never the goal. The goal is actually to get you to where you're getting stronger from a neurological standpoint, mental aspects, stuff like that, and to where you can handle the stress. Because if you're sore all the time, you're not handling the stress. You're being overstressed and stressed out, and you'll have a breakdown. Mental, emotional, physical, whichever. Probably all three at once, right? So the goal is to build that person up slowly, methodically, so they can withstand some extra stress later on. From a mental emotional standpoint, from a joint standpoint, from a muscular standpoint, all those things. So a lot of people jump into it way too fast. The January thing. It's January. I'm going to do 2-a-days for like a week, and then you're going to quit. So, it's a form of self-torture, and people don't realize that until it's too late, often.
So, I mean, one of the people actually put in the comments something about, massages. I have 2 different massage people, that I use and love it. That's the biggest thing I use because of all the crap I put my body through, and it makes me relax. So I have one girl that comes to the house and one girl I got to go to her salon. But it's just, to me, it's just so. I wished I had that massage girl back that day when I worked the daylights out of myself for 5 days or 8 days was in pain. And it wasn't pain; it was just soreness, right? But like I didn't feel it while I was doing it. The feeling came the next day and the day after.
Yeah, it was the next day.
Yeah. So, well, Clint, I'd like to make sure that my listeners can connect with you. So, where's the best place that they can find you and connect with you?
Well, so for right now, it's going to be on social media. So you can find me on Facebook. Just pop my name in there, Clint Fuqua. If you want to use the Health Engineer is my page. I've actually got 3 pages on there. My website is down right now. So I'm working on a TV show. Of course, we can't film right now because we're shut down. So once we get back into filming, I get sponsors secured. The website will go back up. We'll have all the sponsors, TV show, all that stuff on there, all the training programs, everything else. So until then, it's social media only. And I do have a little Linktree link for all my services are on there as far as, meals, DNA testing, medical testing, stuff like that. It's all lined out in there.
And if they Google,
so people have easy access to all of it.
Yeah, if they Google Clint Fuqua at the Health Engineer, they'll be able to find you on the places you are.
Yeah, actually, if they put my name in, they'll find me. There's only 3 of me in the world. Yeah. There's only 3 Clint Fuquas in the world. I'm going to find those other 2. I'm going to get rid of them. Yeah, cool. That's too many. Yeah. So
Clint, as I wrap my show up,
I'm easy to find.
All right. As I wrap my show up, I like to play this little game, and I hope we can do this because I know every now and then we get a skip in the audio. But anyway, I play this little game with my people at the end, and it's called This or That. You want to play This or That game as we close out today?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let's start with my favorite. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, Star Wars, easily.
Easy.
All day, every day.
So then you'd be the Disney guy or the early edition?
So, yeah, for Star Wars, the early edition. Okay, I was born in '77. I am part of a very, very specific group of people. We are the Star Wars generation. Okay, we're the Xennials. So we're Gen X, we're millennial, but we were born in that 77 to 80 time period. So we grew up with it. It's in my DNA. That series has been around as long as I have. So I take it very personally. With Star Wars, but I do love Star Trek. I mean, I like both of them. I love the brand new stuff they did for Star Trek. I love, of course, the old with Captain Kirk, with the originals. I mean, I still love those too. So, but yeah, Star Wars.
All right. So let's move this one here. This one probably be easy one. Car or pickup truck?
Car or pickup truck? Car. Fast.
Okay. Yeah. Pizza, a pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, I know. I've got a friend that's going to hate me for saying that. I like it. I think it's exotic. I love it. Give me some Canadian bacon and some pineapple on there. I'll go Hawaiian style on pizza all day, every day. I love it. I think it's fantastic. There's no such thing as a bad pizza. So I go for the exotic wild blends on pizza. Just load it up. Go nuts with it.
One more food question: taco or hamburger?
Ooh, well, since it's Tuesday, I gotta pick a taco, don't I?
It is Taco Tuesday, folks. Yeah. So
I mean, if it was Monday, I'd go for a hamburger.
Yeah.
Because I'd pay you Tuesday, pay you Monday night sweet for Tuesday.
I will gladly pay you on Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Yeah. So, man, God, that's tough. That's a tough.
Yeah, I know.
overall, I think I'd go for the hamburger. But I mean, I love a good taco. Who doesn't love a good taco? Especially
So how about
Tuesday.
tea? How about tea or coffee?
Man, tea overall. The only way I'll do coffee is if it's cold and black. I'm not really a fan of hot coffee at all. Don't invite me to Starbucks. I don't want to go there. So,
Hey, some people have their opinions, and other people are wrong. Just saying.
Yeah, I know you live in Starbucks. That's why I threw that out there. Just joking with you.
Anyway,
so no, I don't know. I'll take an iced coffee, but I'll go for a hot tea. So,
cool.
but not iced tea, and especially not sweet tea. I'm out on those. So that's kind of everywhere for me. Water. I have my own stuff that I drink.
Yeah,
so I've got my own special blend.
So on this next one here, would you listen to a podcast or listen to music while working out?
Oh, music.
Okay. And most people are music people and working out. So, yeah. My last two here are ones that create wars, but I got to ask them. Toilet paper, does it go over or under?
It goes over. What kind of uncivilized nut goes under? Come on.
That is the question of the ages on my podcast right there.
Unless you've got a cat. Now, if you have a cat, you go under so they can't go there and just and run you out of. But that's it for your cat person. Otherwise, it must go over. Okay.
Yeah. So, and my last one, Clint, boxers or briefs?
Ooh, that's getting personal right there. Can I say neither? Can I say other? Can I use the filled?
You just want us, yeah, okay, yeah. The girls all wanted to know, yeah. So anyway, well, Clint,
so now you know. It's neither one of those. I hate both of them.
So Clint, I appreciate you being on the show. They can find you again on social media. Your name, Clint Fuqua, and the health engineer, correct?
Yep, that's it. And you got it right.
Yep. I did. I tried. So,
got it right then.
Well, Clint, I thank you for being on the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to wrap up another show here. I appreciate you coming to the Tim Gillette Show. All right, and thank you, Clint, for being our guest today. And come back and see us real soon. Make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcast, Anchor FM, and see our YouTube channel as well. All right. I'll see you next time with another great guest. I'm Tim Gillette. Talk to you later. Bye now.